Welcome back to our weekly walkthrough where we bring the above, below, and talk about the transits you should know. So with that, we are, of course, looking at the cosmos. We are looking at the stars and the cards and figuring out some guidance for the week of June 2nd through June 8th. With that, of course, my work is nurtured into being by genuine human beings, and if you would like to be one, please find us on the Patreon. The more folks come over, the more content I will start putting out. All right, with that, we have a pretty slow start to the week. Just our half moon on Monday, which is when Virgo moon squares the Gemini sun. Check-in point. Where are you at since the new moon? What's been going on? What are you processing? And really, we're really up here. We're in the mercurial signs. Mercury's still in domicile over in Gemini. So it is very much just like, what's happening? And with that, we have the tower reversed. And this is a particularly domestic tower. Like, she's having an angry phone call and broke a teacup, kettle. And so it is kind of that very literal, like, boiling over point. We have a lot of like dynamic energy in the sky between all the fire and air that can make people a little bit temperamental. And so with this, check in with yourself and ask, like, where is the internal shift that needs to happen when that pressure is building? When you feel like you're not doing enough, you're too behind, there's that haste, where do you need to come in to shift things? And that's a good place to check both Monday and Tuesday, because in Tuesday, we get the moon conjunct the south node and opposite the north node, as well as square Mercury. So this Monday, Tuesday story kind of feels the same to me. We're really just reflecting on, like, where are things not working, but we're in mutable energy. So it's like, problem solve, go for it. Figure out, like, how are you going to be able to adjust that? And with that, we have the Three of Wands reversed. So like plans on Tuesday and like what you had intended to do and to put out and to get done may not really happen. Like, the journeys can become an inner one much more easily than an outer one. This could also be particularly because we have the lunar square to Mercury. This could be like some body stuff, or like leading to rumination or stress causing physical symptoms. So really, like, take care of yourself. Don't try and rush into the start this week. When we move into Wednesday, we have our, like, we finish off our Virgo moon, move into a Libra moon, who immediately gets in a fight with Saturn and Neptune. So little confused energy, a little bit physically restricted. Again, I'm feeling some pullover from the Tuesday, like the consequences of early in the week catching up to us on Wednesday. And then we end the day, 8:31 p.m. Mountain Time, with Venus in Aries sextile Jupiter in Gemini. And this is just sweet. This is just nice. This is a nice way to wrap up the day for those of us in that time zone, or utilize early on. Like, this is a time to really move into, like, what are your blessings even when they're in bad territory? And I say that because, you know, Venus is still in detriment in Aries and Jupiter is still in detriment in Gemini. And both of those things, you know, they're poised to shift right now, but like, we're closing it out. So where did we get blessings in unconventional ways? And how can we really honor and utilize those? Like, where can we expand what we have received for both ourselves and others? And with that, we have patience reversed for Wednesday. So there can just, I'm just getting a quality of frustration with the slowness of things. It's like everything feels so hectic, but things aren't happening quite as fast as we want. And so don't feel like you have to rush it. Don't feel like you have to overdo it, because you really don't. False urgency is the key phrase that keeps coming through for Aries Saturn for me. Don't succumb to it. All right, on Thursday, we have Mercury sextile Mars, which does give us some speed, as well as square the North Node, and then Venus moves into domicile in Taurus after her long and arduous journey through retrograde territory. And even when she had her exaltation in Pisces, during all of that and before it, Saturn and Neptune were right there. So she was really straining to keep up with the energy that was trying to dissipate things, trying to restrict things, and it was tough. And so on Thursday, interesting. I'm going to give us 2 cards for this one because we have the Secret reversed, and then we have the Publishing Goblin reversed. So on Thursday, particularly with the Mercury-Mars sextile, I want you to be really careful about what you say and to who. Like, this does feel like a day where someone could say something very quickly and it like seems funny, but then it has like long-term consequences. I'm not one of those people that says that trines and sextiles are always good and squares and oppositions are always bad. I think it's more complicated than that. It's more like that's how the planets are feeling about it, but how's it impacting us? And sometimes a really smooth and effortless conversation can actually lead to consequences down the road. So really pay attention and be mindful to what you are putting out there, and maybe journal about it first. But once Venus moves into domicile at 10:42 p.m. Mountain Time, let yourself have a nice night. Like, just relax. And it's cute because it's right in advance of Friday, which is Venus's day. And so when we move into Friday, what we're really looking at is we have some nice lunar aspects with the exception of the opposition to Chiron, and the moon is in Libra, so it's ruled now by that domicile Venus. And then even after the lunar opposition to Chiron, then we get a Mercury sextile to Chiron. So it feels like a good processing day. In the evening, the moon does move into fall in Scorpio and will oppose Venus in Taurus. So once we move kind of evening night range, mountain time, West Coast and also Eastern, we're really looking at like, where were we missing this? Like, where were we missing that Venusian energy? Because there will be a bit of a challenge to it. Like, the Scorpio moon may be looking at Venus like, where have you been? So just be careful, and always when the moon is, afflicted in any way, take care of your body. Take care of yourself. Take care of what you're gathering. And with this, High Priestess reversed for Friday. Well, just Priestess technically in this one. But I really want you to just kind of be with the transit. Don't take the divinations. Don't take things too seriously. This isn't a day to see everything as an omen. Just notice. You can track it. If it does matter, you can review it later. But I would caution you to not go like all in on Friday and assume that you know how things are. We move over into Saturday. And again, not a whole lot happening. Moon squares Pluto in the early hours in the morning, but otherwise we're just kind of coasting and really settling into our new Venusian energy, and figuring out, what is that going to mean for us? And with that, we have the Queen of Swords reversed, and this is again speaking to some of that air and fire energy we've been feeling. And another warning, like, watch your mouth, but also watch your boundaries. Because sometimes when we don't say anything, we also treat that as a reason to not do anything when something is bothering us. And, you don't have to explain the whole thing to somebody, but you can still let them know, you, like, stepped on my toes, and I'm going to go take a little time out, but we'll talk about this later. Like, don't feel like you have to push through it, particularly because Saturdays now have a different quality with Saturn in Aries. Like, they're a little bit more temperamental than they were. Moving into Sunday, we have the Mercury-Jupiter conjunction while Mercury is still in Gemini and Jupiter is just finishing it out. And I love this. Like, it is big communications, big ideas, helping bring some dignity to the otherwise struggling Jupiter, and really telling us to, like, think about what's going on. And it's also a last hurrah because, a few hours after that at 4:58 p.m. Mountain Time, Mercury moves into Cancer, which is then ruled by that Scorpio moon. I don't love that for, like, an ingress chart, but really take your feelings seriously. And with that, we have the Undead reversed. Look at the stuff you aren't willing to let go of. Look at why it's still here. All right, with that, happy week, and let me know what you think in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions, hit me up.